Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined by IBF World Champion Josh Warrington. Josh, it's been a while. I've just seen you put through a bit of a circuit here. You're looking tremendous shape, ready for this fight with Lopez. Yeah. How are you feeling physically, mentally?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long camp. I say camp. I'm always in the gym working, always working and training. But I think the rehab process of coming back from a broken jaw and a busted hand is taken a while. So I've been in the gym a fair while. But as you see, I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. I'll be ready to go by fight night. Getting to the stage where starting to peak, and once you're ready, you just want to put the gloves on and do it properly.
Is it sort of itchy knuckles time now, where you just want to get in and get it done? These last few weeks of camp, I know you'll be going into your last sort of few spars next week, I would imagine. Is now the time where it's like, look, let's just get this on?
It is, yeah. I think you're waiting when you're working for the game plan. I always say camp just because that's how all the game plan comes into training. You're going over it constantly. Yep. You get specific sparring partners and stuff like that, and you're looking for a point in where it all just clicks together. That happened a few weeks back. I think once you can do these fitness circuits to a certain level, you can do runs to a certain time. You can do 12 rounds of pads and high intensity and not even break into it. You can do your spar perfects, then it's there, and everything else is just a bonus. But I'm 32 now, and it's like you don't want to overdo it. Even times I've always coming through with times when we've done nearly 200 rounds of sparring for a certain fight, or too many rounds of fucking bags or pads and stuff. So it's about just getting it right, keeping it there, and just peaking for the night.
Is that something you've had to adjust throughout the years? You mentioned that you are 32. Seems, I can't believe you are 32. It's one of them things, everyone's sort of moving on. But do you have to sort of alter your training as the years have gone by, where you're not doing maybe as much and you're tapering down, you're learning more about maybe your body and how much it needs rest, rather than maybe 24, 25, you can just say, fuck it and go straight through kind of thing?
And yeah, definitely learning. It comes with experience. I've always been eager. I've been to pull me back. And there used to be times when I'd go against my dad's advice. He'd say, right, when you rest now. And I'd sneak out and go do a run and think it's the best. But then it'd catch up with me a few days later in sparring. And I'd be absolutely goosed. Like, I thought you rested. Oh, I actually just did a 5-6 mile run. It's... and I think physically, I'm at the best shape that I've ever been in my career. You say that fighters reach peak years. I feel like I'm in my peak. Everything is just there. I can step in. I started sparring, and all in the past I've used to like rate back in 6 rounds, then to 8 rounds. I started sparring this camp straight in with 10 rounds, 2 sparring partners. So it's like 12 rounds is there. It's always there. It's not a case of where I have to do it fucking so many times. Like, once it's done once, that's it. Yeah. Once you get to a certain level of fitness in here, that's it. The rest of it is just polishing up with the game plan. And it's not going to go anywhere. If I miss a session or have 2 sessions because I'm having a rest, I'm going to fucking lose my fitness. Do you know what I mean? And that's, as a young fighter, you don't realise that. You think, I need to train to keep it there. But you can have opposite effects and go down the scale. So it is just about peaking for that night and listening to your body. There is times when, years ago, my dad might have said, right, we have this week off. I'm like, fucking a week. I remember specifically Gerald Brunkner, they were 5 weeks out, and I was blowing after 3 or 4 rounds of sparring. And they're like, you're having a week off. I said, a week? A week? I'm fighting in 5 weeks, Dad. I went, no, I want you to rest. It was the longest week ever. When I came back and I was dynamite. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And so things like that, just you want to learn through experiencing it.
Moving on to the actual fight itself, mandatory challenger Lopez. What do you know about him? What have you seen of him? Have you watched a few tapes? Have you left that to Dad? What do you know about him?
Yeah, I've watched him. I feel like as a fighter, you have to see your man. You have to see what it looks like, see his movements, because you've got to visualise it yourself. You know, it's easy as well when we're talking about it, when my dad's in here or Abed, you know, Padman, we're all talking in liaison with each other. It's easy to go off what they're saying if you've seen bits and bats yourself. So yeah, I've seen him. Obviously seen him box Isaac Lowe. Seen his last couple of fights as well. We've gone through his back catalogue. Yep. You know, he's packs power. Game fighter, comes forward. He looks to finish a man if he gets him rocking. Yeah. Bit elusive, hands down, but he also has his weaknesses as well. Yeah. So, you know, he's confident in himself. He's probably expecting or thinking that he could come over and do similar to what Mauricio Lara did. Yeah. But, you know, if he's going off just that, then he's got a shocking hand.
I think the last time we spoke, it was shortly after not shortly after, because the Kiko fight took a bit out of you in terms of it took a bit of time away because of your jaw. Yeah. I know you mentioned the hand injuries, but you were slowly sort of coming back, but not fully hitting with it. Going back years, when you had the IBF, you put it to one side because you felt like you weren't getting the big fights. It's holding you back in terms of mandatories. You just got it back, and now you're in a mandatory. Do you sort of just feel a bit of deja vu and think, you know, like, am I going to get this chance to go abroad? Because we've talked about it often enough now. You're waiting. I know we've talked about away days, even if it's just a different part of the country. What's your sort of thoughts about it? Because you've got to be motivated, because to get that opportunity, you've got to win. But is it a bit like another mandatory? Like,
a little bit, yeah. I think the difference this time around is like, because I want to just regain the world title and it's my first defence, my second reign. It's like, get this win, and then I've got a full scope. I've got a full year or full 9 months, as I say, to get that unification fight, to get that big fight, to get that big fight against another champion that I've been wanting for such a long time. Yeah. So I don't feel like there's any excuse for it not to happen now, because
you can't go through this again. You can't, and no disrespect, but you're at that point now where your career's had a lot of chapters ticked. You're Ellen Road. You think you've done the first direct arena a record amount of times, more than some of the biggest performers, worldwide that have come there. You've ticked that box. Headingley, unbelievable entrance. The result didn't go as you wanted, but it's another big box ticked. Yeah. You're now ready to move on from that, and you mentioned that you're 32. It has to be now, doesn't it?
This is it, mate. You've just put it perfectly about me going off on one. But
try a minute.
It's just that. I mean, it doesn't matter where you have the fights, yes, but it's personal goals, and secondly, when I won the world title, I keep going on about this like a broken record, but I fought a man who was ranked higher than me in Carl Frampton. Then I had my mandatory challenger was Kigalad, and they were the men over here. Lee Selby, Carl Frampton, and Kigalad were the men. No one else. There were no Lee Woods. There were no anybody else. Jordan Gills or anything. It was just they were the men, and I beat everyone who I needed to beat. Yeah. After that, I was crying for Santa Cruz. I was crying for Oscar Valdez, then Ishiko Stevenson, and a Gary Russell Jr.
Navarrete as well.
And I never got my chance to see any of them. Navarrete, since that stage, has come up from super bantam to featherweight. Had a little spell at featherweight and gone fucking up again. Always talks about going up again. Leo Santa Cruz has dared to go up. Got chained, but still managed to keep his belt.
2.5, 3 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And Gary Russell Jr. has been beat. Then that man who beat him has been beat. So it's like that's doing pass a parcel. So it's like, all right, I had to vacate my belt. Never lost it in the ring. I won it back. And it's like, if I don't get the shot after the mandatory, then what the fucking hell do I have to do? This has been my 6th world title fight. There's not even been a little single whisper or sniff of, come through this and what could potentially happen. All right, it was talks about pre-COVID, but since I had the loss to Lara, it's kind of just gone pissing in the wind. And for me, I've set a goal. I want to do, at least let me have a go, because it's the fucking unknown. And all right, if I'm not good enough or I have had a dip, then I'll go fucking find out. And if I get chinned, I get chinned, and then I come back over here and I'll just do domestic clean-up. Just stick me in with Lee Wood, stick me in with whoever over here, but let me at least go over there so I can say, I fucking
Across the pond.
Across the pond. I went to another champion's backyard. I had to go. If I'm successful, then fuck, we're going out there again.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, then well, at least I fucking tried,
Yeah.
But
who's the ideal fight for that though? You've got to have a dance partner.
Yeah,
you can't just be Josh Warrington headlining. You've got to have who's the dance partner over there that makes sense to you without looking past Lopez, who's going to come here and everyone talks about, they're coming over and it's a big risk. It's always a risk every fight you go into. But who's the dance partner for you? Who are the few names where you go, that makes sense in America? Because you'll get the support going over there.
Ideally, Santa Cruz. Reason being, I was champion when first time round.
Yeah.
He still got older version of the world title.
The super version still, isn't it?
The super version. My support and followers know about him. Because obviously they've seen him have a couple of dudes with Carl Frampton. He's been around for a long time. So yeah, Santa Cruz would be the one. If not, Ray Vargas is ranked number 1 in the world. I think that if I were to box him, that would potentially be a Ring Magazine belt fight as well. So, but I'd be just taking it. I'd take Navigator as well.
Yeah.
But it's like a fucking for me talks out. I'm crying about it. But what the fucking else have I got to do, Matt? What have I got to suck off? Do you know what I mean? That's how it feels, mate. It's like, fucking hell, because like we I'm not an heavyweight, featherweight, yeah, but we're bringing the big numbers. I've beat whoever I had to beat. I don't even know what else I've got to do. Just start getting my cock out at press conferences. Do you know what I mean?
I probably wouldn't do. But I see where you're coming from, because like you aren't just a ticket seller. You're a ticket. You are obviously a ticket seller, but that's a name sometimes you put with someone who's had up and down career, but he does a load of tickets. Big homes. But you have a whole city behind you who'll be willing to travel to the ends of the earth to see you fight. And I think that'd be proven if they got the fights. Do you feel in some way, I don't want to say let down, because sometimes it's out of a promoter's hands because of A, COVID, B, results, how things work, people don't want to fight, and they obviously have to work out a business side of it. But do you feel a bit like hard done by in a way?
A little bit. I mean, I can sulk about COVID coming at the wrong time for me. Obviously, it's getting the reach of my peak of my career. When I'd done that, I was on a fucking unstoppable run, and then had a 15-month break and a pause where I didn't need. But then I think, fucking hell, stop mourning. People are a lot worse off than you. But it's like, I've come back around now. I've regained the belt, and that's what I'm saying. What else do I have to do? I've won the belt now. If I take care of this, when I take care of this mandatory, it'd be like, that's done. Yeah. Eddie and the team are probably going to look at what makes sense, which would be a big fight with Lee Wood, but it's got to be in my interest as well. It's got to be for my interest. So, Eddie's the man who's got big promotions worldwide. He's got contacts in America. He knows that my support will travel, my followers will travel, and they've been saying it for such a long time. So just make it happen, man.
They drink the MGM dry on day one, I think, wouldn't they?
Absolute carnage, and how good it would look on DAZN, and I think myself getting that profile out there. I've always been just attached to Leeds, and I think that's why there's certain times where I think I've not had the chance to. Look at Carl when he went out to America the first time. I mean, Carl's a fucking likeable lad anyway, but when he went out to America the first time to box Santa Cruz, he come back. You're like, he got the crossover. I've never had that chance to do so, and I think something like that is what I'm missing.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be fucking great for the American support for us to be out there the way I fight, my style. So
yeah, I think that's key. You've just mentioned there in terms of styles, and not to pick anyone else's style, but you're not really in boring fights. You go against a Lee Selby, who's a boxer, smooth boxer, and himself called himself the Welsh Mayweather and all that. Going back in the day, but you're not someone who'll just stand there and tiptoe around. So they're not going to be in for a boring fight, no matter who you're fighting. But if you're looking at that now and say they can't make that happen, is it? What would get you up for a fight? What's a big fight to you if it's not America? Because we look at everyone in that division. There's so many good domestic clashes. You could go to the City Ground, and I'm sure your fans would probably almost fill that themselves as well. Obviously, Lee's got his own section. You've obviously got Wood and Conlon, and I think they'll want to run that at some point because it's one of the best fights I've seen live. Yeah. But you could also fight Conlon. You got to Belfast. He could come over here. What's going to get you going? Because you won't want another. You won't want after this not another mandatory type fighter because it's going to be like a bit deflating.
Yeah, it would be. It would have to be a big fight because if it wasn't, then I'd fucking just
give it belt up again.
Just fucking right off into the sunset or something. When you just get fucked off with it. I don't know, mate. I think in an ideal world, you know, a wish list for myself in 3 fights would be any one of the champions. Then after that, a domestic with Lee Wood, because you know been talking a bit of shit recently, and then
what's he said?
Just on odd interviews and stuff, you know, and obviously they, you know, I'm trying to polish us up together, and then Lara.
You still want that run that back? Yeah, is that still could that still get you? Because you see a lot of comments, and I see a lot of comments online about that fight, and now, it was inevitable what was going to happen after that anyway, and I'm like, I'm not sure. What do you mean?
What was inevitable?
Like a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, he was good. Yeah, he was gonna get knocked out or something." Anyway, I see a lot of these comments, and I always think, is it my heart ruling my head because I come to this gym, I speak to you, and I'm thinking, I didn't really see that, and I was sat ringside. It looked like it was just getting warmed up. But is that something still in you that where you go, you know what? I could get up for that because I do want to prove a point to everybody.
Yeah, Niggles me massively because prior to that I was number 1 in the world. Yep. Number 1 with fucking Box Strike, number 1 with Ring Magazine. Fucking now with the untouchable featherweight, you know, I'd found a way to beat everybody. Yeah, I don't fucking really stand out in any department. Yeah, my engine stands out because I'm always fucking busy. Yeah. But my style is, I just found a way to beat everybody. And, you know, that off night with Lara, and all of a sudden now you fucking, you know, you've been found out, you know. And I truly believe that he's not a Frampton, he's not a Selby, he's not a Martinez, you know, he's not a fucking Isashi Magasa. It's just...
It's personal now, apparently, as well.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I didn't understand that, but your dad sort of alluded to the odd comment. That what happened? Because what happened?
I don't know. You know, me and my dad, we are fucking we're more or less, we're pals more than fucking 5-son relationship. He calls me all sorts of names, and I give him it back. And I think we could fight. I might call him a wanker or a dickhead or whatever, and it's been cross-wired and. He thinks that I've called his dad a wanker, whatever. I don't fucking even know his dad was part of his team. I couldn't give a fuck about his dad. If he wants to go down that route, yeah, his dad is a wanker. Fucking hell, but like, you know, it's personal now. I want to finish his career. What a fucking bell pipe. I've given him his fucking biggest payday of his career. He wants to be fucking grateful. He'll be a fucking multi-millionaire in pesos. Fucking ungrateful cunts. Like, he's making it personal. Whoa, wanker.
I couldn't believe it. Do you know, when you look at it, I thought, if anyone's got any gripe about that, it was you, because you couldn't sort of see what the hard work you'd put into it sort of flourish. What would have happened? Because you couldn't get past that point because of, obviously, the head clash and whatever else happened.
Yeah, and then like the head clash as well. I mean, DAZN, same fucking promotional outfit now, but they threw me on the bus. I mean, the behind-the-scenes stuff...
It was all you, apparently, that.
Oh, yeah, that's what the behind-the-scenes stuff. They painted a picture, like, you watch that stuff, and they paint a picture as though, I'm fucking grateful to get out of the ring, I'm still alive, like, cheering to all my fans and that. When I'm fucking devastated, I'm close to tears, it's like, yeah, I've made it, I'm back, I didn't die. And it's like, Misho's devastated. Misho's devastated they couldn't kill me. That's how they paint. If you're watching that, and you didn't know what the fuck went on, you'd be like... Fucking that poor Lara didn't get a chance to kill that Warrington, you know what I mean? But realistically, you can, well...
You were devastated. I were in the dressing room after. Yeah. Your eyes. I didn't even think we really, at the time of the media, I thought, I can't believe you're letting us into the locker room, because you were like, you were gone.
I'll admit what, it fucking bugged me for a while after as well. But you mean, you look at, I think I heard you, my dad mentioned it when we were talking about Lee Selby. Lee Selby had a fucking really bad cut in our fight after the second round, and he made it to 12th round. They had a little nick. It was nothing. You know, it was nothing that Steve Gray wanted to flag up until fucking they got up at the start of third round. And at the start of third round, that little nick, it seemed to have opened up deeper. Now you watch that behind the scenes things and you don't really see it. Well, you do see it, but it's not really pointed out as much. What's more pointed out is him fucking their translation. The fucking wanker, give me one more round. But it's them who call referee over. Why would you call referee over if you wanted to fight on? If you want that extra one round, you're not calling referee over to making a big fuss of it. Get the doctor in. No, you're not fucking doing that. Yeah. You look at his cutsman, fucking digging it with an earbud. One of them where you stick like
cotton bud. Yeah, your dad's saying a cotton bud.
Instead of a swab what'll stop adrenaline. And then once it's done and dusted, he's fucking buzzing. He's happy to be out there. Yeah, I understand different circumstances. We're not behind closed doors. We're in my backyard and there were 20,000 and yeah, he had a fucking nasty reception all throughout the week, but
it's to be expected.
That's it, and it's fucking, I bet he's not going to argue with his bank balance. Do you know what I mean? Because he wouldn't have, no, that's something right, mate. He wouldn't have been fucking getting that else, he wouldn't have been having a big pay to get against anyone else, so he wants to be grateful, but yeah, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I was looking for a way out. Fucking two fighters will go together. You know, you do clash heads. It happens. You know, at one point he puts his head down and clashes against mine. I didn't cut. It's just
because people try and throw that notion to you that you do use your head. Are you getting a bit sick of it now? Because you mentioned there when you talk about yourself and I know nothing stand out. I've got a good engine, blah, blah, blah. I think you do yourself a bit of a disservice with that. But do you sort of get a bit perturbed now when people are saying you're sticking your head in and it's you that's doing that? Is that getting a bit like?
Yeah, you see it, and I mean I don't take it home like I fucking maybe once did. I used to like take comments home and fucking like affect your mood and that. Like people say whatever they want to say. You know, 1 minute they fucking love you, want to wank you off. Next minute you're a knobhead and you're a fucking wanker. Then next minute again they see you or whatever, you're brilliant, and it's like it just goes about. People want a fucking signed glove, then you're the best mate. But if they don't, it just is. People have opinions, you know. I could call fucking, a footballer, I don't know, shit cunt because I've missed a fucking open goal.
Yeah.
But don't really matter. You just get thrown about, so you can't really take it personal. Yeah. You know, the way that I fight, I go forward, and like especially when I go inside, I keep my chin down. If that means that my fucking head pops up a bit, you know, it's more likely head clashes happen. I didn't really care and fucking go through a stage of getting a few cuts and bumps and bruises. You know, it's not my fault that I don't fucking cut. You know, I don't cut like other fighters do. Some people have a little fucking, you know, a little grazing. Next minute, pissing out of them. It just is. It's boxing. It's not a tickling competition. It's a fight.
Yeah, 100%. Let's end on a positive note. I say positive note because it's fucking brilliant. But no, you are at Leeds again. I think it is. I read somewhere it's a record time. I think this is like your 13th, 14th, 12. So it's a 12th time at Leeds Direct Arena. You must be proud of that and the sustained support you've had. Nobody's sort of dwindled off. You've not had a peak and trough. It's been constant. Like Josh Warrington, Leeds, bang, arena full. Just talk to me again. Once your support is incredible. How proud are you that you're getting to do this basically?
Yeah, I'm very proud. Obviously, you know, when you look back towards that Wednesday night, I was 22-year-old and I was fighting for a British title, and I was just that were my MGM, that were my Caesars Palace back there. There were only 3,000 there on that Wednesday night on that Sky show we did, but that was the start of it, and since then, many people have come, many people have gone. Some have been coming from the very start. Some have dropped off and come back and whatever, but they've always been there. And you know, in the first stages of myself coming through, I mean, I don't know how long you've been reporting on the boxing map, but like early 2014, I was just a ticket seller, and the only reason that these supporters and fans and whatever were coming out because I was a football fan. Which is like fucking, that just doesn't stand whatsoever now, does it? Because like, you know, for near on 10 years, people have been coming out, the same people, through thick and thin. I mean, 18,000 at Emley Stadium after coming off a loss to see me get revenge. You know, the full arena, 10,000 there last time to watch me recapture the world title. They've been there through thick and thin. I mean, I've been putting odd little thing up on my Instagram. There's been people who started bringing their young lads, 8-year-old or whatever, and now they're coming along and they're 18. They're legally allowed to go out, and you know they used to come with the dads, and now the dads still come, but they're going out with their mates, and you know they're bringing their own friends and selling their own tickets and stuff. So, it's there's a lot of people I've met throughout this ride, and they'll be lifelong friends, and I've met some right characters, and I'll be always indebted to these people, you know, not just for the financial, but they've spent on their tickets, but the time that they've given, because it's not just you know, that one night. It's, you know, planning and preparation. A lot of lads, you know, will organise tickets for me, and it's like they'll travel about, you know, getting them to their mates. And then some people don't just live in Leeds, they come from further afield, book hotels, stay over, and you know, so, you know, sacrifice weddings and other birthday parties to come along to that fight. So I'm very, very grateful.
Well, Josh Warrington, I think that's a perfect way to end this interview. Thanks for talking to Boxing Social. We'll have someone there in attendance on the evening. Good luck, wish you all the best.
And still.